So, chapter 15, Happy Father's Day. June 17th, I rose at 5 a.m. with two reasons in mind. One was to reach the cruise to Faro before sunrise, and secondly, to exit my all-male bedroom with minimal fuss. Sharing a bathroom with 9 men, not my idea how to start a Sunday morning. Outside, the moon was slipping down behind Fonts of Baden, making room in the darkened sky for the sun to rise over this half-abandoned village. Once home to a 12th century hermit, it had fallen into years of decline, no one keen to live in this desolate gateway to the mountains. But today, derelict buildings were coming alive once more. Old stone walls were now supporting new windows, doors and roofs to keep the pilgrims 9 centuries later dry and warm from this unforgiving mountain top. At 5:30 a.m. it was still very cold, but at least it was dry as I made my way towards the edge of the village to begin my 1,500 metre climb to the cruise to Faro. I didn't see Carlos, but I was glad not to bump into him or anyone else I knew, as I needed to have this time to myself to let the tears fall. Walking up the steep path, I clutched 3 things tightly in my hand: the rose from his garden, a stone from the cave hill, and a penny. Quietly whispering soft prayers, I neared the tall, simple iron cross. The sadness and grief of those who had walked this way before was palpable in the air. Sunrise was gently bathing all this pain and grief in a whitish hue. Around the base, simple rocks lay scattered, mixed with pictures of young and old, loved ones never to be forgotten. A simple memorial, no tomb, no pyramid, no crypt, no grave, just a pile of stones, each one saying, "We will always remember, never to forget." Bending down, I placed my simple tribute to my dad on a flat stone, promising him that his memory, like the rose, will always bloom, and like the cave hill stone, he will forever remain my rock. Standing up, I felt such a deep pain in my heart, not only for my own loss, but for the loss of all the other stone tributes that lay around my feet. I had walked 350 miles to reach this point and find closure on a bereavement that began 350 days earlier. I hoped the pain would now stop and the happy memories would now fill the void. Yet, as I stood there, alone, I didn't feel very happy. In fact, I felt sadder than I'd felt in my whole life. My first Father's Day, fatherless. Then I let my mind wander back to all the wonderful Father's Days I had had him. The very early ones, when I would buy him a bar of his favourite Fry's chocolate cream with my pocket money, or the ones when I bought him a small potted plant for indoors, which grew and grew and grew, and is now a 16-foot tree spanning branches and shading his entire back garden. I should go to the gardening class, I think, ladies. He would have had such fun containing that to a pot in the sitting room. To thoughts of last year and my last gift to him, a single yellow rose I had brought him to the hospital, his favourite flower. But I don't think he heard me when I read aloud from the card, telling them that he was the best father in the world, and that my world would be so empty when he leaves it. A few short days later, he did leave the hospital room with its machines and beeps to go help tend Heaven's rose garden. Watching him lying still in the deadly still of that night, I slipped the rose into my bag so that I could rest it in my memory box alongside the last card he wrote me. A simple card attached to a bouquet of flowers saying, "Thank you for your care and your caring. Love and big hugs, Dad." So today, under the cruise to Faro, I bring him once more a rose and wish him a happy Father's Day with his angels. Whispering, "I will love you always and miss you forever," and wiping my tears, I left the cross and my tribute behind and set my feet for Ponferrada. I'd hoped to go further, but my feet, like my heart today, were very fatigued. I knew the town well from my last visit in September, when I walked with Moses, whom I had met sitting on a log high up on a mountain top. No, not the second coming of Moses, just a lovely guy and his girlfriend from southern Spain, though with his long hair, beard and Moses sandals, one might have expected him to be carrying 2 stone tablets.